Arguably, the most important amplification component in vinyl playback is said to be the phono preamplifier. High quality parts and attention to detail in the design and manufacturing is critical as the phono stage re-equalizes information on the vinyl grooves by boosting bass and shelving high frequencies by up to 20 decibels. It also amplifies the tiny electrical signal coming from your cartridge. In some cases, this signal is less than 0.4 millivolts for moving coil designs. Manley Labs from California is a company that has a long arm in studio recording and music production. And luckily for us audiophiles, they make outstanding hi-fi gear as well. Their flagship phono preamplifier, the Steelhead, costs over $10,000 and is touted as possibly the world's best phono stage. The spawn of the mighty Steelhead is the subject of today's discussion, the Manley Chinook. The Chinook is set to bring a massive portion of the Steelhead's performance at roughly 30% of its cost. Let's talk about how it sounds and how it compares to a few phono stages around its price range. This is the standard Chinook and not the upscale audio special edition. This unit retails for $3,200 USD. It's a tubed phono stage employing a pair of 6922 tubes in the input stage and another pair of 6922 tubes in the output stage. Manley is set to wind its own toroidal transformers, and they hand tune the rotational position of the transformer before bolting it down during assembly of each unit to ensure lowest possible measured noise in both channels. The unit has switches inside the case for selecting a 45 dB gain for moving magnet or high output moving coils and a 60 decibel gain for low output moving coils. The upscale audio special edition offers additional steps in gain of 55 dB for high output moving coils and 65 dB for low output moving coils. The back of this unit has switches for adjusting resistive loading for moving coils in 32 incremental steps from 26 ohms to 800 ohms and a 47 kilo ohm setting for moving magnet cartridges. Additionally, you also have 7 capacitive loading adjustments from 50 to 350 picofarads for moving magnet cartridges. And now let's talk about my subjective impressions on sound quality. I have had this phono pre for a few years now, so I'm very familiar with its performance. I used the Chinook with a few moving coils over the years, like the Koetsu Black, the Dynavector XX2 Mark II, and the 20X2 models, and some high quality moving magnet cartridges as well, like the Artefon 2M Black and the Clear Audio Maestro Sateen Wood. These carts were installed on my Riga Planar 10 or on my Lin LP12 with the Excellent iTalk LV2 tone arm. Manley Labs uses tubes to harness the inherent headroom and linearity present when designed properly. So if you are seeking a tube phono stage because you want a homogeneous, warm, lush presentation from all your vinyl playback, this is not the phono stage for you. The sonic virtues of the Chinook are effortless detail retrieval, explosive dynamics, and almost endless headroom, provided of course the rest of your system is capable of that performance as well. Here are some album examples. This one is from my latest haul from the Record Store Day 2024. Jazz from the Pacific Northwest by Shelly Man and His Men. This is a live recording to showcase dynamics, instrument timbre, and that seemingly endless headroom I just mentioned. The flute, Alto sax and trumpet sound amazingly open, and their bite and speed can be startling. The dynamics, speed, and textural detail from Shelly Man's drumming is explosive and extremely nuanced at the appropriate moments. To explain this a bit further, side one has a track called The Vamps Blues. A few times in the song, there are some really hard thwacks of the snare drum with grunts from Shelly Man. The speed and attack of the snare will literally kick you in the chest. But that's not all. There are textural details and tone decays that are reproduced just right to fool me into believing I'm experiencing the live event. Side 2 has one 18-minute track. Somewhere in the middle of the track, the band pauses for a few seconds because an aircraft flies by, and the sound of this plane is so realistic and loud with zero compression. It is as though you were out in the open when this plane flew right over you. Amazing recording and stunningly reproduced via the Chinook. This next LP is called Rio by the Florian Pelissier Quintet. Last track on side A is called Between the Bars, featuring Agatha Irasima. This might be a retake of an Elliott Smith original, I believe. Beautiful lyrics about alcohol addiction, how it alters one's personality, using alcohol as a shield from the pressures of the world. Some of these words may come too close to some of our own life experiences. The mid-range reproduction by the Chinook is spot on. Her voice is so seductive and her words are so easy to follow. I am intimately familiar with this record, and this kind of realism is not always available in some of the $2,000 phono stages I've heard in my system. The resolution offered up while listening to this track via the Chinook is stunning. This last LP is called Rio Fukui in New York. This is a live recording of the trio with Rio Fukui on piano, accompanied by an upright bass and drums. The piano sounds very realistic. Big scale, excellent timing and body. The ambience retrieval and soundstage depth brings a huge dollop of realism. The upright bass sounds sinewy with a lot of definition, positioned just behind the piano on the soundstage. The kick drum textures and attack are conveyed in an impactful and articulate manner. Okay, now for some comparisons. The Chinook stole my heart a few years back with its sublime musicality and emotive performance. It displaced my previous reference phono, the West Audio Signature 3, which cost about 4,000 USD. The West is a solid-state design with an outboard power supply with similar ability to render spatial details and soundstage if present in the recording. But I preferred the tonal density and the dynamics of the Chinook. The one other phono stage I have had in my system that is more flexible in terms of loading is the Chord Symphonic. The Symphonic offers up to 84 dB gain should you possess moving coils with less than 0.2 millivolts output. This is an example of fantastic audio engineering, and the Chord Symphonic costs 4,900 USD. If you haven't watched my video on the Chord Symphonic, please do. I'll post a video card up here. Coming in over twice the price of the Chinook is the Riga Aura Phono, and I'm curious to see how the Chinook compares to it. Hopefully we'll find out soon. Thanks for watching.